Thanks to the support as a channel member, FMD Michael Angud. Look, I appreciate having the second camera angle back, but don't think that this makes up for selling Alex Williams out from under me. It's very small. It's very small compensation, especially because the camera angle isn't even much wider than the other one. We go from this to this. It's basically the same. We're going to need a wider lens if you're going to want me to really start to feel good about your horrible transfer policies recently. Hello and welcome to part 86 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games for you. We're at home against Crystal Palace. That's where Alex Williams went. And we're away against Sheffield United. Since you were last with me, after our very iffy start to the season in the last episode, we have started to turn things around. We're unbeaten in the league since then. We did get ourselves knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Hull on penalties, which was not ideal. But we have put together a decent little run of form. We've also seen the emergence of Ola Richards, who I'm not even sure you've met Ola Richards yet. I'll check in on the transfers to see exactly when he signed. But this is the transfer. This is not the transfers. This is the league table. 8 games in, we're in 6th place, 13 points on the board, 5 points behind Birmingham in second. So in the mix, not exactly where we'd want to be, but there or thereabouts. If we just check in on the transfers, let's just double check. Yeah, you haven't met Ola Richards. I also don't think you've met Ernest Czekowski. Czekowski? I think Czekowski. So he came in from Lech. He's an 18-year-old Polish striker who can play on either wing, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Already played him a couple of games off the bench as well. But the big one is Ola Richards, who's coming from Toronto. He was actually a pre-contract for a contract that was expiring at the end of the season, or at the end of the MLS season. So he would have come in January, but it only cost us $87,000 to bring him in now. So once we secured the contract, we brought him in early. He's 18 years old, current Canadian international, 3 caps for Canada already, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's a left midfielder, but obviously we're going to play him on the left wing. We're not going to use left midfielders, but he's as good as Hamilton, almost as good as Renan on that left-hand side. Another one in the potential to be a Premier League player club. He is very, very quick. He's got a very good cross on him. He is an ideal winger. And as you can see in his first 3 appearances for the club, 2 goals, 3 assists, and a 7.43, Ola Richards is a new hero for us already. I don't think we sold anyone else. We didn't. The last player he left was Alex Williams to Crystal Palace, and you're going to see him playing for them today, where he's conceded 9 goals from 8 appearances, only averaging a 6.84, and Palace are below us in the league. So serves you right, Palace. I desperately hope they get relegated and we get promoted this year, and we can bring him to the Premier League with us for like 3 million quid as they get relegated to League One. It'd be the most perfect piece of transfer business in the history of the world. But this is the team for the game against Palace. We've got Jack Green in goal, a back for a Francis Davies-Barr and Nathan Curry, Akani and Lay in midfield, and then Ola Richards on the left, Renan on the right, Roberts in behind Kieran Hodgkinson as a complete forward. You can see there's been a few changes to the way we line up since the last episode you saw. This is what's kind of fixed our poor start to the season. We've kind of mirrored the team over, swapped it over. So we now have our attacking wing back on the left rather than the right. So Curry sits a little deeper and Francis pushes on, mainly because Renan's permanent home now is on the right-hand side, and I want him to be more attack-minded. So Renan is the one who's going to be on the attack instruction, getting up there to support the striker, but whilst staying out wide, playing in that winger role, whereas Richards is on support with Francis coming beyond him, and Richards sitting just that little bit deeper, but still whipping the crosses in, getting on the end of crosses, that kind of thing. And then Kieran Hodgkinson finally getting a run of games up front as a complete forward on attack. He's been there for the last 2 or 3 games and he's starting to score goals. So Hodgkinson as a striker. Who knew? Why didn't anyone tell me that was an option 5 years ago? Can you imagine? I assume Alex Williams is going to be in this Crystal Palace team. It's going to be heartbreaking to put 6 goals past him, but, you know, sometimes these are the things one has to do. There he is, Alex Williams, earning more money in a week than most of us have ever earned in a lifetime. I don't actually know what his salary is. That's probably not true. I don't know how much money Crystal Palace pay in the Championship. Probably not stupid money, but more stupid than we're able to pay. Probably the kind of money Nathan Curry is on, because remember, Nathan Curry is on about £45,000 a week at Brentford and on loan to us. So Nathan Curry, comfortably the best paid player in the home team by a long, long way. Probably by 3 or 4 times. I think Hodgkinson's probably next highest on about 12,000. And Curry doesn't, Curry's well ahead of that. And I imagine Williams is much closer to Nathan Curry's salary than Kieran Hodgkinson's. But we're 27 minutes in. The only action we've seen so far was that corner that did lead to Williams doing what Williams always does and just making sure that no disasters happen. A little bit of defensive iffiness, but Williams is there to protect Palace from conceding a goal. That's what we're missing this year, because we don't get that out of Jack Green just yet. Green will still come good. Green has potential at least as good as Williams's is. It's just obviously Green hasn't got that experience and that current ability that's so important when you're pushing to promotion to the Premier League. Hodgkinson out to Curry. Curry with the cross finds Richards, but Richards can't quite get the shot away. It's quite interesting after all these years of Hodgkinson and Curry being our central midfield partnership that they've both kind of been forced into other positions in the team now, about as far apart as they can get at right back and centre forward, which I guess is where they should have been playing all along, according to the coach reports we got at the time. I think Hodgkinson was always described as a striker and Curry was always described as a right back. But at the time, we needed him in midfield. And now, as we've strengthened, we can finally start playing them in roles where they're hopefully going to be the most effective. Half an hour gone, still 0-0. We would like a breakthrough sometime soon, please. Especially with Palace being one of the newly relegated Premier League teams from last year. Any time now, they're going to start to turn their form around and start to move up this league. And we'd rather it wasn't against us. So give the boys a little motivational, go on, go and do a football at half time. And hopefully we'll send them out there to do exactly that. Curry with the throw. Curry finds Renan. Renan's been quiet today, but he's done well here to get the crossover to Hodgkinson. And Hodgkinson gets there just ahead of Alex Williams. And it's 1-0 to home. I love the fact that Hodgkinson just nips in front of his former teammate. In fact, part of me thinks Curry and Hodgkinson came through. I don't think they did come through the same youth team as Williams, actually, because they're both 24, 25, whereas Williams is a bit younger. But the three of them would have played together for so very long. And for those two to be the two that combine to finally get the breakthrough past Williams is a beautiful thing. It's 1-0 to home. We're approaching the 70-minute mark, and we've got another throw on this left-hand side now. Francis with a really poor attempt at a throw, and we've given the ball straight back to Palace, but we're chasing down nicely here, although they've now lumped it forward and got themselves a little bit of a break on, and Francis needs to get the tackle in here. Bearing in mind, Francis is the guy who took the original throw. He's done very well to track back and just cut out any attacking threat that Palace had there. That's beautiful defensive work from George Francis. And now we look to build down the right-hand side with Renan, who's got space, and he just gets his head down and starts to run, as Renan does whenever he has space. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to realise where the goal is, and he's running in a straight line and just kicked the ball in the direction he was running in. Not quite the flair that we would normally expect to see from Renan. Richards has been really quiet today, which is a little bit of a shame, because like I say, he has been exceptional in his 3 games so far, but we'll take him off, get Renan on the left, Onyango can come on the right, and we're going to take off Connor Roberts for Blamplate, and that will do for now. As we look to see out these final 20 minutes, Francis looks like he's taken a knock there, actually. I don't think he was down to red conditioning when we just had a look a second ago, unless I completely missed him, but he certainly is now. So after this highlight, we're going to take off Francis. I think Hodgkinson with the flick on to absolutely nobody. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to for Kieran Hodgkinson that he is the man up front on his own these days, and he can't do stuff like that and flick it onto the players ahead of him because there are none. But that should be the end of this highlight, and we can now get Francis off. Francis is just shattered. Have we got anyone who can play left? Oh, we've got McCartan on the bench. Spot on. McCartan can come on for Francis, just slot straight into that left-back role. And here's Renan on that left-hand side, causing problems. He's forced a corner, and hopefully this is going to be another breakthrough for us. No, it's not, because we don't even get to see the corner happen. 10 minutes to go. Home 1, Alex Williams 0. Still, this vindicates everything if we can hold on to this. We are the bigger club. Williams made a mistake, maybe he'll stay here. Maybe he won't go back on the bus with them after the game. We've only gone and beaten them, boys and girls. That is a big victory. Like I say, against a team that have just been relegated from the Premier League. That is huge. Keeps us very much in the mix for promotion. Only 3 points off top of the league now. And keeps Palace in trouble, which is beautiful as well. Just one change for the Sheffield United game then. Ali Bassik coming into the midfield for Alec Lay, who drops down to the bench. Ali Bassik had been getting a little bit of a run in there. And as you can see, playing quite well. So let's get him back in the mix for this game. Just very conscious that I don't want to drop Alec Lay out of things entirely, as I'm very much going with Barr and Davis as my central defensive partnership at the moment. And Alec Lay does have a little bit of previous for getting a grumpy on when I don't treat him as a star player and play him as such. So we're kind of dropping him into midfield, dropping him into defence, fairly on the regular in rotation, just making sure he gets enough game time to not get a grumpy on, because long term, once we're in the Premier League, long term, I'm sure Barr and Lay is our centre-back partnership. But while we're still down at this level, and Harrison Davies, I mean, he's still a 4-star player at this level. He's still, star rating-wise, the best defender we've got at the club. He's just a lot older than the other two and doesn't have any more potential to improve. So I think Barr and Lay are the future, but at the moment, they have to earn the right to play alongside Harrison Davies, who certainly isn't getting dropped when we're in the Championship. He says now, if we're still in the Championship in another 3 or 4 years, he's probably been dropped by then. But at the moment, he's not getting dropped anytime soon. Right, Renan has picked up an injury. We're going to take him off at half-time. 0-0 as we hit half-time. Let's just check what's up with Renan. He doesn't actually showing us having an injury, but we'll take him off anyway, just as a precaution. We've got Onyango who can come on that right-hand side. I finally got around to adding the individual player roles that automatically update. We're in season 11 of this save, and I finally got around to doing that. That's, I mean, I've got no excuses for not doing it sooner, but it does make these substitutions a little bit easier to just slot them straight in nice and easy. Right, 0-0 as we hit the hour mark. It's been a very nothing game so far. We've not had a shot on target. We're slightly edging things for XG, but I don't know. Hodgkinson, as much as I like Kieran Hodgkinson, and he does contribute well to the team playing in the role he's playing in, I think it does take something away from us as a goal-scoring threat, just as a team. Also, not having Hamilton in on that left-hand side. We know he's a real goal threat as well, and I think we're missing him, again, as much as I like Richards. I can't complain too much. We're up in, 6th place in the Championship. It's not like things are going badly. We're on a nice, long, unbeaten run. But we weren't outstanding against Palace. We're certainly not outstanding again here against Sheffield United. Although, to be fair, I think Sheffield United might be one of the other relegated teams. So we're holding our own against teams who should be much better than us. There's a lot of poor performances in this attack today. Goodness me. Roberts can come off a bland plate. And I think I'm going to take off Akani and bring on Costabile and put Hodgkinson back into midfield and get Costabile up front. Just for, he's a little bit more direct. He's going to run and get in behind a little bit more than Hodgkinson will. We keep Hodgkinson in there for his playmaking ability, but Costabile just, I think he's more likely to get a breakthrough in these last 10 minutes or so. Sheffield United have gone to a flat 3 up front. They think they're playing FM18 and are trying to glitch their way to victory, and we need to make sure that kind of evil manoeuvre doesn't come off. But they are passing the ball around nicely. They look the most likely to score in the second half. I mean, in the whole game, really. Like I say, not had a shot on target, so they absolutely look more likely to score than we do. That's really poor. Oh, Green does brilliantly to keep that out. I mean, it was his error, really, that led to it, but he does very well to rescue us from. I don't know where he was running to afterwards. It looked like he was charging off out the penalty area, which was bizarre. But it looks like we're going to pick up a 0-0 away from home. 0-0 away from home against Sheffield United. We can't be too upset with that. But this seems like a very different home team this year. And we're not the free-scoring, exciting team we've been previously. We ran out for a few weeks because we've just had an entire episode where there's only been one goal. Luckily, we scored it. And we're still nicely in that promotion mix. We'll play a bunch more games. We'll probably come back. Well, I say we'll probably come back tomorrow. We'll definitely come back tomorrow. And we'll probably do the Peterborough Derby. It's on telly. It's our big local game. So we'll slot that one in. And then one of the games either side of it, depending on what takes my fancy. But now we're going to take advantage of Mrs Wearmouth's new investment back in the club again and jump over to the other camera to say goodbye. This is worth the money, Mrs Wearmouth. I can say goodbye on a different camera. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.